Darkskies Podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA, so San Jose. We got a full show coming to you. We're talking giants, planetary alignment, talking about the state of the world, a little bit of media, and just a full show. I mean, what else can I say? We're up all night. And I hope you're up with us. Welcome to Darkskies Podcast. Just get yourself ready and let's get ready for the show. It's crazy now. We are full speed ahead. We in August. I mean, the whole squad is fired up. I mean, it's hot. It's definitely hot. But welcome to Darkskies Podcast. And I'm your host, Ashley Grace. We got Mikey Nikes in the building. We got Jim in the building. We got Jennifer on the ones and twos. DJing, giving us the great sounds of the night. Hey, we got the whole squad here, as usual. And that's a good thing, right? Showing commitment. Making sure we continue to feed the airways on the mass worldwide web, internet radio, broadcasting, podcasting. But yeah, cursed with knowledge. And today we're talking some of this planetary alignment, and we're talking giant structures, some giants on the planet, talking just what does all this stuff mean. We're trying to tie it all together. And we're going into a new week, so we're going to talk about that too. Got another heat wave coming. It's really strange when you start to talk about, well, is it summer heat or is it something else? You know, because here in California, we've just been having some crazy heat, and then we got the fires going on. So it's like, when you think about the weather, well, we know it's summertime and we expect it to be hot. But woo-wee, this is like a different kind of hot. But I'm not complaining because I can take it. But I'm just looking around and I'm seeing the effects that it's having on the community, that it's having on the state, the world, and just makes you wonder, is this the new norm? Because we're breaking records, and you're looking at all these totals when it comes to the fires, and you're looking at the temperatures, and you know, you're going back in time and trying to see if this is normal or if it's something that we need to be alarmed. I mean, the sun is in the solar minimum. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's hard to try to find out if it's one thing that's causing all these heat waves or if it's a combination of quite a few things. And going into the week, we're going to get into these heat waves, and we're going to talk a little bit about it too. Have some shows on it, because that's how we spark discussion. You know, that's how we spark interest. We put the subject out there, we all discuss it, we talk about it, and you know, you open dialogue with something. That's the best way to come up with, you know, sound, calm, intelligent solutions. And we do need a solution, because with these fires that we're having, it's just, you know, it's just getting worse. But then it's not just the fires, but, you know, it's the unnatural events that are happening around the fire, as in the fire creating its own weather. And I'm looking at the videos from these fire nados, and just to make you think that, you know, this is a whole new world. But it's really strange when you start to put it all together and start to try to understand exactly what it is that you're observing. Okay, what I'm observing is very strange weather, even though it's summer, but it's like above heat. It's a different type of heat. And I was laughing with Mike, and like, dang, Mike, it's like, it's so hot, like we got two suns. But lately, we haven't been able to see no extra no extra suns in the sky. Matter of fact, they haven't even been chemtrailing because I guess it's not necessary. I guess where the sun is located, you can't see nothing. Is that true? I mean, we haven't been seeing nothing. And God knows we've been looking. And we feel like, the more time to come past, the more these objects should be visible in the sky, right? We should be able to see more. But I don't know, now we can see less. But I also understand that, with these changes that we're going through, that, hey, the skies do look different. What does that mean? Does that mean that, there won't be a Planet X arrival? Maybe everything changed and this is, a world where none of that happens. Because I was looking at the moon and I was talking about it last night when I was looking at it rise and it was dark. And I was wondering, is it a shadow like over the moon? Because the moon just wasn't its clear self. So what does it mean? I mean, it wasn't a blood moon because I've seen the blood moon rise and, it has the reddish color to it. And last night, I don't know, it was just dark. It was a dark moon. Now, I don't know what effect, Planet X would have on the moon, if any at all. But just to see the color of it, kind of dim. It was more than dim. It was like dark as it was rising. It just make you think like, wow, is it clouds? It was a clear night. I don't know. I can't call it. But I do want to know that um, each planet in our solar system, as I was talking earlier last week about the planetary alignment that we're in and get about 4 more weeks left of it. And we was getting into could it be causing some of these crazy natural disasters that we're currently going through as far as all these floods, these storms, these volcanoes, the droughts, the tornadoes, both regular and fire. So, this is what could be causing all of this, and is it a sign of things to come, and is it possibly this planetary alignment that we find ourselves in? I don't know. I do know that we're seeing an increase. I mean, it was a huge 7.0 earthquake by Indonesia, shaking the ground. Just like I said, increased earthquakes, volcanic activity. These are all things that seems to come in line with this alignment. It's like trying to develop an algorithm to try to say, okay, when we come into this alignment, what can we expect? Well, we can kind of start to see now. The information is in, the data is being analyzed, and it looks like, whenever we end up in one of these alignments, this is what we can expect. The weather to go haywire, the ground to shake, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, activity, volcanoes around the world erupting. What else? Torrential downpours and flood and, lightning strikes, tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons. All of this stuff happening right now, all at the same time. All at the same time. We got hurricanes in the Pacific, moving across. I'm just telling y'all all this stuff that's happening right now because you probably wouldn't know. I'm just telling you that if you look around you and you see all this chaos, and you ask yourself, it can't be just, just this time of the year. This is hurricane season or this earthquake season. Huh? It's volcano season. Because they finna start giving seasons, to all of these natural disasters. This is flood season. It's fire season. They just put season at the end of the natural disaster and then just try to make it sound normal. This shit ain't normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not normal for as much acreage to burn like we've had here in California. It's not natural for a volcano to erupt like the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii. I mean, now it's more common for the Guatemala one. But at the same time, you just have to look and ask yourself, is the things that happen around us, is it normal? Or is it the new norm? Because when you start placing, the last name and say a season, it's bird season, it's hunting season. Well, it's truth season. Is it a such thing as that? The truth season? The season where they stop lying to us and start telling us the truth? About this planetary alignment, about, binary stars, and maybe did we have one, binary solar systems? Maybe they should tell us that, it's a reason that all the weather on the planet is going crazy and we're having all kinds of natural disasters, Or maybe they don't know. Or maybe I'm the one that have to tell you. And you got to get your information from me. I always told people that you're never going to get a straight answer from the real media, the mainstream media. You need to get your information from, offsets, people like us, who are getting out there and researching and trying to find out the answers, but we're not getting paid. We don't have a slant. We don't have nobody leaning over our shoulder saying, hey, you know what? Let's not do that story. Now I'm doing my stories. I'm doing my topics. Ain't nobody stopping me. And that's why I say that we are the number one podcast, especially at night. We're holding it down. Looking around, seeing no competition. Hey, late night. It's like the truth season. When the sun go down and the truth start to spew across the airways. But we having fun, man. We having fun going late into the night. And basically, you listening to Darkskies Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, LC Graves. Keep listening, y'all.
Young new
Take me back with this one. I think that
T-shirt and my panties, got my t-shirt and my panties on. Picture this, I'm in my bed, body's hot, soaking wet, thinking of the things I like to do. I'm open wide when it comes to freaking you. Imagine me, asking between my legs, you're tasting me. Boy, we're kid. My love will overflow. You ain't worried to worry. Cause I got my t-shirt and my panties on. Just how you like it. T-shirt and my panties on. Waiting for you. T-shirt and my panties on. You can't deny it. T-shirt and my panties. Got my t-shirt and my panties on. T-shirt and my panties on. Just how you like it. T-shirt and my panties on. Waiting for you. T-shirt and my panties on. You can't deny it.
Listening to Darkskies Podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. listening to Darkskies Podcast, coming to you live from a very hot Los Angeles, California, in the middle of a heat wave, even hot at night. But we're still doing it though, going deep into the night, because that's what we do. Oh yeah, but I do feel good though. Like I said, I'm a natural night person. Staying up all night don't bother me like it does others. So we stay up, eyes open, wide awake, looking at files, talking about research, spreading the good word across the airways. And as I do that, I watch Mikey walk across the room and hand me my question. Thank you, Mikey. Let's see. It says, LC, do you believe in ghosts? Do I believe in ghosts? That's a good question. Kind of out of left field, though. Wow. Let me say this. I believe in the human spirit. Now, I don't know if there's such thing as ghosts in traditional sense, but I will say that something moves the body, and after death, I believe the spirit leaves the body, and the body dies, and of course that's what we bury and we cry over at the funeral, and we all walk around and look at the body, but minus the spirit. Okay, now because there's a spirit, and after death there's minus the spirit, and the spirit goes somewhere. I think it's possible that it doesn't always go to where it's supposed to go, especially considering that, humans, when we're all alive, don't always go to where we're supposed to go or do what we're supposed to do. So I can imagine that, there's some spirits going, here, from there, probably floating. There might be a lot of them around us right now, listening to the show. But they can't download it. They can't listen to it live on Spreaker.com. But I believe, it's such thing as ghosts. But you have to understand that for how many humans are alive on the planet right now, I always tell people this is easy math. 7 billion, right? At least that's the number we're going with. 7 billion people alive on Earth right now. Now, out of those 7 billion people, just imagine how many humans have lived throughout the existence and have died before this point. Lived and died. All the humans that lived on Earth and died. I'm pretty sure it's way more than 7 billion. So it's safe to say that if ghosts do exist, it will probably be more ghosts than living. So that's just to give you an idea that if there is ghosts out there, that there wouldn't be any shortage of them. It wouldn't be like one ghost. It'd be like, wow, countless. So I think it's all types of possibilities when you think about life and death. So there you have it. Yes, I do believe in some type of ghost or spirit or however you want to say it. I know, Mikey, the question said ghost. But it just seems like ghost is like a generic term. It's like spirits. You believe in a spirit. The spirit that moves the body. But we're talking planetary alignments. We're talking giants. But before we get to the giants, let me say this about the planetary alignments. Now, we're in this planetary alignment where all the stars, all planets in our solar system is behind on one side of our star. So basically, this is a planetary alignment. It doesn't happen too often. My understanding is within the last 100 or so years, probably about 5 or 6 times. So it's not really a common event. But what we're doing is we're going through it right now. And at the same time we're going through it, the sun is going through a solar minimum. So we have a lot going on when it comes to just the weather and just rare occurrences. So we did a little bit of research to try to find out what are the things that, happens when our planets are all occupying the same side of our star. And some of the things that we were able to come up with was increased volcanic activity, earthquakes, strange and inclement weather. And it's just, it reads like a book. So now we got an understanding of why some of the stuff is happening that's happening right now. The massive earthquakes, the flooding, the horrible weather on the east coast of the United States versus the drought conditions on the west coast of the United States. You got the fires. So it's just, you have so much going on and it's all at the same time. And then you ask yourself, okay, well, how long are we going to be in this alignment? Well, it looks like for at least 4 more weeks or so. On the first week of September, we're looking for, I guess, the planets to start moving out of this alignment. But this is still something that's ongoing. We've been watching it, and you can see, like I said, events happening all around the world, and you're monitoring them, especially like Yellowstone, and you're looking at Kilauea over in Hawaii, looking at these hurricanes and typhoons. You're looking at all the flooding and these massive earthquakes, and they had the tsunami scare over in Indonesia. It's just a lot to swallow, but at the same time, this is what's going on. That's why we're talking about it. We're discussing it, and the best way to prepare for stuff like this is to understand it. So understanding is a major portion of this. So just know that we're going to be in this alignment for a while longer. So there's going to be plenty more opportunities with each day to pass for more stuff to happen. When it comes to weather, like I said, all these volcanoes are, man, like a fire tornado. I mean, those things are not natural. It's not normal. I mean, I guess it may have happened in the past, but there's no real records of this. All this stuff is new. I mean, you got the regular tornado, you got the water spout tornado, and you got the fire tornado now. I told everybody we're going to have the earth tornado next, where it's just going to be a wind and rocks. But anyway, I'm not trying to make fun of it, but you have to try to be kind of lighthearted, because if not, it's doom and gloom. Okay, we're going to move on to the next subject because I'm excited about talking about giants and what's going on planet Earth. Now, we're looking at old hieroglyphs and looking at some of the old ancient structures that are around the Earth and trying to get an idea of what the heck are we looking at and why are some of them so big and how did they put them together? And these are all questions that you get just by trying to answer a question like, do giants exist or did giants exist? And then you go back and you look at the history of the Earth and you say, okay, well, at least in the Bible they spoke of giants. And, then you look at ancient civilizations and ancient man, and you look at all of these old tribes, and, some of these tribes tell stories of fighting giants, and we ain't talking about in the biblical days. So you ask yourself, okay, well, how is this possible? These Indians, feel like they fought giants, and, you hear the story about the United States military fighting a giant down in Afghanistan. We don't know if these stories are true, but these are stories and they come out and people talk about them. And of course, if people talk about them, eventually it comes to us. And, we definitely find interest when it comes to, the United States government or the military fighting against a giant? So, yeah, I mean, that's just a bizarre statement. Okay, then you look at all these old stories, and then you say, okay, well, it's perhaps, giants could have existed. And then you start looking at some of these megalithic structures around the planet, and you say, okay, well, somebody's building this stuff. I mean, but we don't know. I mean, you go down to the Yucatan Peninsula. I mean, come on. If you go down to there's places in Peru that just blows your mind. I mean, it just makes you wonder. I mean, who is building these things? I mean, and for what purpose? And even if you do get some of these answers, you could just look at some of these structures and see, they're not built for like regular sized people. I mean, like some of the doorways that I looked at, like in ancient Egypt and some of the places in Africa, used to say, "Wow, this is crazy." I mean, you built this door so huge and so big, and it's, I mean, and just looking at the hieroglyphs, some of the hieroglyphs show, figures sitting down with, like worshipers or Egyptians or type people, like, either bringing or presenting stuff, to a giant figure. And I say giant figure because the person is sitting down and the people who are standing up are like coming to his knees as he's sitting down. So you figure if he stood up. I mean, you just looking at it. I mean, we're just talking. We're just talking. Now, these are giants in this fashion, in the sense that, hey, they huge. And if we regular size people, then these people, we coming up to their kneecap. Come on now. That means that we're talking somebody who's just freaky big. So how is it possible that people like that exist? Where did they come from? And then we say, well, giants could have existed. I mean, we're digging these giant dinosaur bones out of the ground, right? The dinosaurs were giants, right? They were huge. They weren't like little lizards that we have today. They were big, giant, megalithic monsters. I mean, come on, man. The Triceratops was huge. I mean, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, when you see these creatures and you be like, okay, they wasn't little. They giants. So even back then, the Cretaceous period had giants. So do we have giants today? Will we have giants in the future? That's a good question. And I'm going to answer that when I get back. Trust me, we're having fun. And we're going to keep doing this. We're going deep into the night now. You're listening to Darkskies Podcast from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. What's up, San Jose? I know y'all up with me. Thank you for joining me. Be right back.
Don't let them tell you any different. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. I owe it all to you. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. And as much as I messed up, always give me your best love. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. Sometimes I wonder what I did to deserve you. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. They gon' talk about it, gon' try to change your mind about it, gon' tell you things you don't wanna hear, but we good. So when they talk about it, just let them know we already got it. Just tell them that we gon' work at it, we good. Don't worry about it.
Don't think they know that you say that's all. Don't think they know. How could they know? Don't think they know that you say that's all. Don't think they know. How could they know?
Don't listen to
How could they know?
what people say.
How could they know?
They don't know about
How could they know?
you and me.
How could they know?
And I bet you love me. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. Even or at my worst. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. And I know that it's different. Feels like we're best friends. We're connected. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. What did I do to deserve you? Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. They gon' talk about it, gon' try to change your mind about it, gon' tell you things you don't wanna hear, but we good. So when they talk about it, just let them know we already got it. Just tell them that we gon' work at it, we good. Don't worry about it.
Don't think they know that you say that's all. Don't think they know. How could they know? Don't think they know that you say that's all. Don't think they know. How could they know?
Don't listen to
How could they know?
what people say.
How could they know?
They don't know
How could they know?
about you and me.
How could they know?
know about us, they don't know about it.
How could they know?
They don't know about us, they don't know about it.
Thank you for autographs and the cheers over the years. You stood by me, you didn't doubt. I think you want some more. I do more than sing. I'm out and out, acting out. Plus I got my own movie now. After all the awards that they gave me, you stood by me, you didn't play me, you didn't doubt. Think you want some more. I truly believe that if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would do. Say that's all. How could they know? How could they know? I'm think they know the truth. They don't know. Say that's all. How could they know? How could they know?
Don't listen to
How could they know?
what people say.
How could they know?
They don't know about. They don't know
How could they
us.
know?
Listen to the Darkskies
How could they
Podcast
know?
from Los Angeles, California. Bay to LA. South San Jose. All the way down to San Diego. Man, this is a beautiful night, y'all. It is warm in the middle of a heat wave. But that's how Los Angeles do it. Do it hot. What's up, Mikey? I see you got another question for me. All right, let's see what this says. It says, oh, LC, if planet... Man, I can't read your writing, man. It says, if you believe in Planet X, where's Planet X right now? You need to write that in manuscript. You're the one writing in cursive. Like everybody can read your handwriting. You can read it, but I can't always read it. Yeah. Okay, where's Planet X? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? I mean, people have been looking for Planet X for, wow, I don't even know how long. And nobody knows where it's at. Now, we've seen all kinds of interesting pictures, videos. You're looking at the weather, sky cams, and you're seeing some really interesting footage. But one thing for certain, nobody knows for sure. I mean, we see all kinds of objects and all kinds of possibilities, but nothing is concrete. Now, me personally, I believe Planet X exists because it's been spoken of in so many different cultures and, throughout history. So usually if something has that much background, that much roots in our society and all of these different cultures, I mean, they speak of it, the winged disc and all of this. I mean, so you have to kind of give it a little chance of existing. Now, me personally, I give it more than a little chance of existing. I believe that it really exists because, all of these people can't be wrong. I really don't hear too many people saying it don't exist, except for a few naysayers who say, oh, it ain't been found, so it don't exist. I mean, there's a lot of things that haven't been found, but people still know it exists. I mean, that's the whole thing about being a researcher, You find the proof, you look for the evidence, and you present it. But anyway, I think Planet X exists, but I have no proof, and I don't know where it's at. And somebody need to tell Mikey to learn how to write in manuscript. Yeah. You act like it don't exist. Type it then. Type it. You act like you got to write the questions down. If you're reading the question in manuscript, and then you write it down in cursive, and then you hand it to me in cursive. So that's not fair. You're reading the question in manuscript. Print it out and give it to me. I don't know, man. You just make things difficult. You do it on purpose. I don't know. All I know is that today we're talking about giants, and this is definitely one of the subjects that brings attention because we talk about a lot of the structures that we see around the world. How you say, it's great to be a part of such interesting research. I mean, because think about the pyramids down in South America, and you think about the Nazca lines, and you grab, how you say, you Gwegli, I can't even pronounce it, Gwegli Tepe. How do you say it? But anyway, like I said, there's a bunch of ancient structures all around the world. Well, it's a hard one to pronounce. I'm not some type of archaeologist. Thank God we need an archaeologist on this show because looking at some of these ancient temples and looking at the some of the hieroglyphs, and you just say, hey, it's some strange stuff. I guess that they're trying to tell us with these manuscripts. I mean, if you just look at the pictures and some of the hieroglyphs, you'd be like, this guy was clearly a giant. Or this guy is in some type of ship. Best way to describe it. And I'm going to put some of those pictures up too, because ancient hieroglyphs is like so interesting. I mean, I remember back when I first started studying like ancient Egypt, and I used to look at the hieroglyphs and I see, the bird, or I see like squiggly lines maybe for a river or water or something. It's just real simple pictures. But then, as time goes past, now I'm looking at hieroglyphs and, you're seeing just well drawn out characters. You're seeing detailed stories being told. You're seeing size differences that that are not explained in the. I guess it would be self-explanatory. Like if I draw myself 20 times bigger than all of y'all, then that means I was 20 times bigger than all of y'all, or 20 times more important. I don't know. That don't make sense. 20 times more important. I believe that these people were really trying to depict, difference in sizes. Now, if you come up to, like I said, the guy's kneecap and he's sitting down, just imagine if the man stood up. It's just, it's incredible. And then we always have the arguments too about who built the pyramids or who built these structures. And, some of these stones are so huge and so big and brought from so far away. And, man couldn't have did this and man couldn't have did that. And I'm like, you ain't thinking about a giant man. A giant man probably could have did that. Could have easily cut them stones and moved them stones from one place to another. But they just walk across, no problem. Just carry the stones. Or they had them in a bag or something. I don't know. When you think about giants, it opens up a whole new door of possibilities to, some of the craziest questions that we have on this planet. Like the Nazca lines, like who drew them? Like maybe a big giant with a stick. This probably was like drawing, like we would draw in the sand at the beach with a stick. He probably just, who knows? I mean, think about it. The Nazca lines can only be seen from above. So if you're not up there, then first of all, you wouldn't make the images to begin with, because you wouldn't even know what the finished product looked like, because you wouldn't have the ability to go up there and look down and say, okay, that's what I did. And then you would have to have, okay, if you didn't have the ability to go up there and you still are making these images for something that is up there, you have to know that there's something up there. You ain't just randomly making big giant pictures for nothing. So I'm thinking, like I said, there's a reason for everything. And I think those Nazca lines is definitely something to say, wow, it's a very fascinating discovery, or sight, because this is something that existed for a long time and still do, and you can still see it. Like I said, if you make something like that, you would expect it over time to fade away. Even if you cut it in the grass, the grass grows and, it's not going to stay there. Just like the beautiful crop circles that, they be having in Europe. I don't know if they're man-made or if they're made by some outer force, but no matter what, they just be beautiful. But we also know that they don't last. A few days, maybe a week or so, they gone. They start to fade away. The crops grow back in, or whatever happens, unhappens eventually. So the Nazca lines is impressive because, they stand the test of time. Whatever they were trying to convey was meant to be conveyed over a long period of time. And then you look at the pyramids and you say, okay, they're real big, and, some of the stones are giants, and it's just, you wonder where does the technology come from? Well, technology will probably come from maybe the giants. Because you're thinking just because a person is huge that he's dumb. They big dumb giant. That's how you talk. How you doing? No. Them giants are probably scientific, space-sparing race. They were probably, they were probably like the giants in, what's that, Prometheus? They're a big space-faring base. Space-faring race. It's hard to say that fast, huh? But yeah, these giants probably were scientific. They probably was astronomers. They probably was, all the stuff that we are, but on a giant level. They probably had a space program. They probably have an interstellar space program. They probably have just about everything that we have, but like I said, way more advanced. Because you have to think, if a giant do exist, his brain is like bigger than us. So why would he be dumb? We always say that. We're quick to say that. And I got some shows coming up where we're always applying intelligence levels on stuff when we're really not that smart ourselves. But we're quick to say something dumb, and we're looking for intelligent life. And, we won't find that amongst the giants. No, come on, man. If anything, we the dumb ones, and the giants are probably looking at us like we dumb, and they scientifically advanced. So, I don't know, that's really something to think about, and that's something we're also going to dip into in this coming week. Intelligence levels and the labels that we are applying to stuff that we haven't even met yet, or don't even know, or don't have no real good understanding of. But we quick to say what it is or how smart it is. But we're having fun, but all fun must come to an end. But it's okay. We'll be back later on today to do another show. And like I said, we're going to be talking all this crazy heat, this heat wave that's affecting us here on the West Coast. We're going to be talking some of the other weather events that's happening around the world. Crazy earthquake over in Indonesia. We're going to be talking more giants, and but this time on a different level. We're going to be talking dinosaurs, and we're going to be talking reptilians, and we're going to talk a little bit of alien stuff too coming up this week too. So just keep listening, and like I said, you can download the show for free. No money out of your pocket or mine. At Spreaker.com. You can also listen to the show live on Spreaker.com. You can listen to the show on demand. We have links to the show on Facebook, on my Facebook, LC Grace. We also have links on Twitter. You can also find our shows or podcasts on Facebook. Wow. And YouTube, both Facebook and YouTube. So you got the links on Facebook, then you got the shows on YouTube as well. You can listen to the show. So these are all these different platforms where we made available so you can actually have access to the show and you can listen to it. And like I said, you can download it for free and play it back whenever you're ready, while you're washing the dishes or babysitting the kids or maybe on your way to work. The choice is yours. But one thing's for certain, we've done a lot to try to make sure that the show has plenty of platforms and plenty of ways that you can grab that link and make it over to Spreaker.com so you can listen to the podcast on demand. Because a lot of people miss the show live, and I understand that because we don't really have a time. Y'all just know that we up late at night. but we try to be here between 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And we just go as long as we can until we get all the information out. And then we, of course, shut down, get ready for the next day. So, in our case, the next day is here. It's Monday morning, and the week is actually started for us. So we're going to get a little bit of rest, and we're going to be ready for tomorrow's show. We already got the files ready, and we'll be back. So, thanks for listening. I'm your host, LC Graves. We got Mikey Nikes in the building, of course. Jim's still here. Thank you for staying up, man. We got Jennifer on the ones and twos. Thanks for the great music today. Whole squad is here. Darkskies Podcast. All day, all night. And like I said, you know how I get to where I'm going, by leaving where I'm at. So right now, I'm leaving where I'm at to get to where I'm going. Good night.